What's up everyone, it's Doug here with Retro Geek Gaming, bringing you another video discussion. Been a little bit under the weather lately, so I apologize if I seem like I'm a little bit out of it for this video. But I did want to go ahead and talk about a recent rumor that's been floating around that Sony is going to be creating another handheld console. I'm a little bit mixed about this, truth be told, because while yes, I'm excited to have another handheld, Sony just really seemed to make it like they were done with handhelds and they were going to focus strictly on the PS4. But this kind of isn't a surprise because this seems like this is going to be something that directly sort of competes with the Switch, although I don't think that that's going to be the case because the Switch is doing something completely different than what, you know, than maybe what that can be now. Sony may potentially come out with something that's, you know, as powerful as a PS3 or, you know, Switch levels or something like that. And there's enough room in the market for it. I mean, of course, people in Japan love handhelds. They love mobile gaming. You know, you can tell there's a big demand for the Switch over there. However, I think that Sony just really needs to focus on the PS4. I mean, no offense to them, but there's a reason why you gave up on the Vita, and that was because it wasn't selling well compared to the PS4. So, continuing to support the PlayStation 4 seems like the better deal for you. Now, see, Nintendo has their franchises behind them, so even if the Switch, like I said, starts to kind of plummet as a, you know, as a home console, they can bring out Pokemon, they can bring out Metroid, they can bring out the names that they know are going to help them sell, and they can do that. It's a little bit harder for you, Sony. Now, you know, no offense, I mean, unless you bring back like Spyro and Crash and all that stuff, and you start bringing back the, you know, the big hitters again, I don't think a God of War on the go, it would be interesting, but I don't know if that's going to be, you know, everything that you're going to need to be a successful system. Now, I think it'll be great to see, because Sony's typically that kind of company that, you know, they typically try to compete with Nintendo, but I think it'd be better if they came out with something that maybe wasn't detachable, that focused on strictly being just a handheld and not, you know, a gaming console that like it can compete with the Switch or even with the 3DS, but not directly. Like it could be more of a portable with, you know, like sort of the best way to think about it is if they took the PS4 Pro and put a screen in the middle of it. I think something like that could be great. You know, you could have clickable things. You could have the PS4's thumbsticks, you know, R2, L2, all that stuff. Yeah, I think that it could be something that could be really good. But I think that the thing is, it needs to distinguish itself more than maybe what the Switch is doing. You know, like if it had, I just think that if Sony came out and they did do this, and they showed it off, and it has detachable controllers, and it does everything that the Switch does, I think there's going to be a lot of negative feedback from that. They're going to be like, you know, what's up with this? Because whereas the Vita had similarities to the 3DS, it had a touch screen, it had a little trackpad in the back. The trackpad was really meant to be more of like R2, R3, you know, kind of meant to be the replacement of the shoulders and the clickable buttons. But I mean, the touchscreen and the near functionality, I mean, it had some similar features to the 3DS, but it had a second stick. It had better graphics. You know, it was capable of doing a lot more than what the 3DS was capable of doing, and that's the reason why it stood out. Which is the reason why I think that if they do decide, I think it's going to be more of a competitor to the 3DS and not really a competitor to the Switch, because in order for them to compete with the Switch, they have to compete with a hybrid home console and portable, whereas Sony already has a home console with the PS4, and I don't see them coming out with a whole new system, a PlayStation 5 for an example, that's both just for the sake of competing with the Switch. So if they do come out with a Vita successor, I see it being more along the lines of competing with the 3DS and maybe the portability of the Switch, but I don't think it's going to be a direct competitor to the Switch. That's just me. But make sure that you guys put down your thoughts below about what you think about Sony coming out with a, or at least a rumor that Sony might be coming out with another portable system. I don't think that's going to happen. I mean, I know that, you know, this patent came out in 2015, and here it is 2 years later, and it's now becoming public. They may be sitting on it waiting. They may have heard what the Switch was going to do and started to design up their ideas for it and now come out with it. I don't know, but they really seemed like they were done with the way they dropped the PS Vita and the way they haven't really been supporting it since. They really have seemed like they are done with portable gaming, but that's just me. They could easily come out with something and be like, we'll try it one more time because of the popularity of the Switch. Something, who knows. And again, Sony is based in Japan, where portables again are big because there's a lot of people that are in trains and moving around and stuff like that. So they have more time when they're on their commute to work to play a game than they do at home. So it makes sense that the portable market is more vibrant over there than it is over here, where a lot of people seem to have a lot more time at home to sit down and dedicate time to that. But again, that's just my 2 cents. What do you guys think about the possibility of Sony coming out with another portable system? Do you want to see it? If you do, what do you want to see from it? I'd love to hear that in the comments as well. If you're not interested in it, do you think they're not going to do it? Explain why. You know, I would love to hear what you guys have to say. And again, I apologize for being the way that I am. I've just been a little bit under the weather. And hopefully I'll feel better to where by the time the Switch comes around, I can do a proper reveal of it and talk about it and all that stuff. Proper unboxing and all that. But only time will tell. We're a couple weeks away from the Switch being released, and I think it's going to be a really interesting time for gaming to see where we're going to go from here. But I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.